crowded field for Indiana Senate District 15 as voters wondering who to vote for and how they might differ. All week on First News, we are interviewing the 4 Republican candidates and 1 Democratic candidate.
Yesterday morning, we spoke with Republican candidate Darren Vogt. This morning, News Channel 15's Rod Hissong joins us live from Studio 15 with our next candidate. Rod?
Good morning, Tara and Pat. Good morning, everyone. The series rolls on, and sitting actually to my right is Jeffrey Snyder, also on the Republican ticket. Thanks for coming in this morning. We appreciate you taking a little time out of your morning in your busy campaign schedule.
Thank you.
You're kind of the proverbial dark horse. No one really knows who you are. You don't have any political experience. How has that been working for you on the campaign trail?
It's actually been working out fairly well, I believe, because we do not have a typical path to follow. We've sort of carved our own, and quite honestly, as I move through the city and the district and that, finding a lot of people are refreshed with the idea that, maybe we won't have politics as usual, and we'll be able to get a little bit different and do some things a little different.
I want to read a quote here from Vending Market Watch, which is a website that's kind of catered to your industry.
Sure.
As the CEO of Snyder Food Services, you said, quote, "I'm a businessman, not a career politician, and I want to try to fix some things that are totally not right." What do you mean by that? What's totally not right?
Oh, gosh, where do you want to start? Well, let's just start with the educational testing that's going on. We've got a test that we've put on hold because, quite frankly, it doesn't work. It's broke. And yet, we're going to hold teachers, educators, and students accountable for the results. Those are just things that we shouldn't do. I have strong beliefs that not everybody learns the same way. Not everybody should be tested the same way. And I'm a firm believer that not everybody has to go to college to be successful.
He also said in an article in the Journal-Gazette in January, he said, "For decades I have seen firsthand the negative consequences of the career politicians who haven't had to make a payroll or struggle to make ends meet." As a businessman, do you have too much focus on businesses and not on the people that are working for the businesses?
Oh, absolutely not. Through my lifelong, living here in Fort Wayne all my life, I've spent tons of amounts of time in the community working with youth groups, working at the state level for advocacy through the Indiana Vending, working obviously for the vending industry, for the health codes that the food industry works through, and then also for small business. So no, I'm not just focused on that particular industry, but small business in general, but more importantly, all of the people of the district.
You've campaigned a lot on creating jobs, getting government out of the way to make sure businesses don't have a lot of restrictions or they're over-regulated. What's something you would do if you made it down to Indianapolis to help companies get started but also continue to add jobs, but add jobs that are high-paying?
Well, I think obviously that the idea that we need to create the environment where we have people that are willing to work and want to work. We absolutely need to get our people from the unemployment, the welfare rolls, and we need to continue to follow things much like the personal property tax that we're attempting to reduce. But then let's do away with some of the other things that are hidden behind the scenes where currently right now in the state of Indiana, businesses pay the highest federal unemployment tax of any state in the union.
I want to talk about welfare reform in just a minute, but more on jobs. Would you support raising the state's minimum wage?
Absolutely not. I think that's actually counterproductive to what we would attempt to do and would actually force businesses to close.
Do you think a minimum wage of $7.50 is adequate now for people to live a life on?
I think there's opportunities where, and let's just go to the welfare system and all that. Right now we have 2 systems. You're either working or you're on welfare. And there's no bridge. There's no bridge to that gap. So perhaps if someone starts out at a $7 or an $8 or a $9 an hour job, and as they gain tenure and as they gain experience, they're going to get promotions, they're going to get pay raises, they're going to become more viable and useful to the employer. But in the meantime, perhaps some of that money we would be paying to sit at home could be funneled and used to offset that pay difference.
Speaking of welfare reform, would you support drug testing for those on the welfare program?
We drug tested our facility when we hire.
So you would support it for anyone for a
Absolutely.
statewide situation?
Yep.
Okay. Constitutional amendment to ban same-sex marriage. It's obviously going to come up next year in the legislature. Do you support that?
You know, I was raised in a Christian background, or at this point in time, still instilled with that background. Marriage is between a man and a wife, so yes.
What about with the civil unions? That sentence obviously came out. That's why we have to go through the process again. Do you support also keeping civil unions out of Indiana?
I'd really like to get it to the voter. Let the people of the state of Indiana decide what laws they want to live under and how they want to do it.
But do you support civil unions?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, 15 seconds real quick. If you get down to Indianapolis, what's the first thing you would do?
Establish some of the relationships with the current sitting senators and House of Representative people that I've been working with for the last 8 or 10 years to let them know I'm back, and this time I'm going to be there in the same house with them and be able to work with them.
All right, Jeffrey Snyder, thanks very much for coming in. Good luck the next week or so. Our interview series continues tomorrow morning when we'll speak with Republican Liz Brown. Thursday, we talk with Republican Ken Freese. Democrat Jack Morris joined us on Friday. Again, Darren Voigt joined us yesterday. Tara Pat, back to you.
All right, Rod, thank you.